Here inside the Barclays Center, we're getting you ready for Syracuse and UNC coming up later on tonight. Tip-off around 9:30 here in Brooklyn. Seth Goldberg and Steve Infanti with you for a little Orange Nation preview of tonight's game. And Steve, you know, we talked a lot about this game on the show today, coming off that impressive win over Wake Forest. I guess let's start here. What is the key to the game or the X factor here for SU against the Tar Heels?
Well, Frank Howard said the X factor is Merrick Dolezaj, and it's hard to argue with that. You look at what Dolezaj did last night, the 20 points. You go back to that first meeting against North Carolina, he took 2 shots. He made both shots, but he only took 2 shots. Last week against Boston College, he did not attempt a shot. Since then, he's averaging 14 points per game. Had the 8 points against Clemson, and then, of course, the 20 last night against Wake Forest. If he plays like that, when he's that aggressive, this team's awfully tough to beat. And he doesn't need to go out and score 20 points tonight, but I think he does need to be aggressive. He does need to keep the North Carolina defense honest, and I think that goes a long way toward determining the outcome of this game. So in terms of an X factor, I do think it's Merrick. The big three's been there all season long, scored a combined 66 points in the first meeting against the Tar Heels. You'll expect them to be there tonight. If they can get that fourth scorer, namely Merrick, I think that'll put them in much better shape.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's a huge key to tonight's game. You look at the first meeting between these two teams, Battle, Brissett, and Howard scored 68 of 74 points, and that's just not going to get the job done. You need something else. And
almost got the job done that night. Almost.
Almost. It was very close. And, you know, if we're looking for a second thing, I'm thinking back to that game that they played in the Dome 2 weeks ago, and you look at Tyus Battle and the game he played, and it seemed like a switch went on. And in the second half, he realized Joel Berry, Theo Pinson, Cam Johnson, it doesn't matter. None of them are stopping me. And he got to the basket a lot easier. And I'm wondering that maybe if he gets that going a little bit earlier, does it give the Orange a better chance? And if he just says, hey, I'm doing this and you can't stop me, it could let the Orange get out to a lead early.
He's at his best when he's attacking the basket. O'Shea Brissett is at his best when he's attacking the basket. Frank Howard, again, he's improved his three-point numbers, but when he's working off the dribble and he can either shoot or set up, you know, Pascal Chukwu or Merrick Dolezaj on the drive, that's when he's at his best. So, yes, I think that Syracuse needs to get away from settling for the threes. We saw that, you know, O'Shea was settling for threes last night, 0 for 6 from deep. He's got to get to the basket. And, yeah, Tyus is at his best, putting the ball on the floor and blowing by guys. And he was efficient last night, scored, 18 points on 9 shots. Very efficient. They're going to need an efficient effort out of him. But, yes, I would look for Syracuse to start strong tonight. They went on that 24 run to start the game yesterday. I think having that one game under their belt and working out the kinks and maybe taking some of the pressure off with that victory, I think that they're going to get off to a fast start tonight. Now, will North Carolina be able to match them? They've been sitting around. You know, they've been watching a full day and a half, almost 2 full days of games here in Brooklyn. So I think the first 5 to 6 minutes of this game will be very important.
Yeah, and look, if Syracuse gets off to the start they did last night, I mean, they got out to a 20-4 lead, and that really made the difference in the game, right? Because Wake Forest fought, they clawed, they made their way back into the game, but they couldn't get over that initial hump of we were down 16 points 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect a 20-4 run to start this game by any means, but just to get off to a fast start and show North Carolina, hey, you know, that first game 2 weeks ago wasn't a fluke. Like, we're here to play. We're going to play you toe-to-toe. This one's going to go down to the wire. And Carolina can score so quickly that even if SU does build a lead, I do expect this one to go down to the very end. So I'm not expecting, by any means Syracuse is going to come out and win this game in the first 5 or 6 minutes, but I think it will help set the tone that, hey, you're in for a dogfight tonight.
You know, and of course, we can't talk about this game too much without talking about the NCAA tournament implications. And we know where Syracuse is right now. They're firmly on the bubble after beating Wake Forest last night. And you look at tonight, another chance at a Quadrant 1 win, another chance at a top 10 RPI win. Right now, UNC a top 10 team consensus across the board, RPI, BPI, and KenPom. This is a huge opportunity for the Orange, and I get the feeling that if they can win this game, they've likely stamped their ticket.
Yeah, I said last week after the loss to BC, I said if they can win 3 in a row, I think they get in. You take care of Clemson, you beat Wake Forest, and then you beat North Carolina, I think you're in. They've taken care of 2 of the 3. I feel comfortable saying that this is for an NCAA tournament bid tonight. If they lose it, yes, there's a chance. I mean, the resume looks better and better, with an RPI right around 40. Again,
and given what everybody else has done this week.
Exactly. So the resume is improving. You've got the big win over Clemson. Miami's now ranked in the top 25. I think that helps. They've got 6 wins away from the Carry Dome. Their strength of schedule out of conference is very good. All of that is going to help. But again, as you get closer to Selection Sunday, the bubble tends to shrink. There's bid stealers out there. Somebody might get hot. Notre Dame might get hot here at the ACC tournament. They're about to take the floor. As we're taping this, Notre Dame about to take the floor against Virginia Tech. So if Notre Dame goes on a run, that may take a bid from somebody else. To feel comfortable on Selection Sunday, I think SU needs to win this game.
Yeah, I do too. I have that same feeling. So why don't we get to just a quick prediction? We did this a little bit earlier. We didn't spend too much time on predictions. Steve, I'll let you go first. What do you think is going to happen in this game? How do you think SU fares?
I can't predict the Syracuse. I can't predict it. I would not be shocked if Syracuse wins this game, but North Carolina is North Carolina, and this is the ACC tournament. And the Tar Heels are looking at a very high seed in the NCAA. They've got a lot to play for. So we know SU's got a ton to play for. Carolina does too. So I think that, I'll pick the better team on a neutral site. Carolina's a 7.5-point favorite for a reason. I think it's going to be a close game, though. All this Syracuse team does is play close games. So I think it's a close game. I say Carolina, wins by 5, makes some free throws down the stretch. I say it's a 5-point game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can't pick an SU win, but I wouldn't be shocked if they got the job done. It feels like it's in that kind of a mode for SU tonight. And if they get a good game out of Merrick, if they get a good game out of Pascal Chukwu, it might be enough to push them over the edge where they didn't get that game 2 weeks ago. But I can't pick a game, like you said, where SU is going to beat UNC. So I think UNC will win. I think it'll be close. I think SU will cover if you're into such things. You mentioned a 7.5-point favor for the Tar Heels. So that's where I am. And look, we might still be talking about this team on Sunday or next Monday on Orange Nation. We very well could still be talking about them as an NCAA tournament team, even if they lose, if things break the right way the next couple of days.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're talking about them either way. We'll be talking about them on Sunday. We'll be talking about them on Monday. If they lose this game, listen, it's a whole lot of bubble watching. And the one thing we didn't mention, and we brought it up on Orange Nation earlier today, keep an eye on Buffalo. Buffalo's RPI right now is 32. They open up the MAC Conference tournament as the favorite. If they can run the table, win the MAC Conference tournament, if their RPI goes up 2 spots to 30th, that becomes a quadrant 1 win. So that would certainly boost SU's chances.
There's plenty to watch for, but the best way to think that Syracuse might make the tournament, the Orange need a win tonight. With Stephen Fonte, I'm Seth Goldberg here at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. Stay tuned to our Twitter feed at ESPN Syracuse throughout the night. And, of course, you can listen to the game on TK99 and ESPN AM 1200, tip-off around 9 o'clock.